Hey everybody, Mr. Leonard here. Today we're going to be creating two graphs for our stratospheric ozone depletion lab. Now the very first thing that you need to do to make a nice easy graph is open Excel. I'm going to show you this great technique. First, if you head up to the upper right hand corner, you find this search button. If you type in Excel, E-X-C-E-L, it will pop up. I see it right there. I click on it. It will take a minute to open. You can see that it's doing that here. Once it's opened, it will be very easy to go through the steps and get everything complete so that you have a quick and efficient graph. I encourage you to use this for your classes in the future as well. Now, stratospheric ozone depletion lab, if you look at the first data table, it's labeled as 44-1. What we're going to do is there's two columns of data. It gives us years and it gives us total ozone. I would like you to type in those two columns exactly, but I'm going to show you a nice trick which will really save you some time when typing in all those years. Now all you have to do is click in cell A1 and type in the first year, 1956, hit return or enter. Type in the next year, 1957, hit enter, and 1958. Now Excel is great at recognizing patterns. So the easiest thing that you can do is click it in the center of cell A1, as I've just done there. Click, hold, and drag down to 1958, as you see here. Very, very simple. Now, as you can see, my cursor right now is this white plus sign. If I move it over this little box in the corner, it turns to a black plus sign. And what that tells me is that it recognizes a pattern and I can extend this. So if I click and hold and move my cursor down, notice the years automatically labeling themselves. Now, it hasn't put anything in any of these boxes yet until I let go. Now the last year, excuse me, on our graph is 1994, so I stop right there and release, and guess what? It pops in all the years for you automatically. So it's really, really easy to use. Now there's no shortcut on the data. Sorry about that. You just got to type that in. So the first one's 324, the second one's 327, and so on. Keep doing this until you've typed in all the data. This would be a great time to pause the video. Okay, now that you've typed in all the data, it's time to make our graph in a very few amount of steps. It's very quick and easy. We're going to start again by clicking in cell A1 in the center, not in this little box in the corner, but in the center. Click and hold, go all the way down to 1994, and then go across. Alright, this way everything is covered. Now right now it looks like 1956 isn't highlighted, but it really is, so don't worry about that. To make the graph, again, it's very easy. You go to the Insert menu at the top. You go to the fourth one down. It says Chart. Click that. It's going to pop up a whole bunch of crazy options for us. And we don't really need any of these. Now we're going to be making a line of best fit. Now most people think, okay, I need to go to line graph, but that's not the case. What you really need to do in Excel is go to this spot called XY scatter. Go ahead and click that. It gives you 5 options. We want to pick the option all the way to the left. Alright, great. It plotted all those points for us very, very quickly, much faster than any of us could ever do that by hand. It scaled our axes for us, but there's one problem. This graph is really, really tiny. So the best thing to do is to make this as its own full page. All you have to do is hold down the control button on the Mac and click on the graph. Oh, I'm sorry. Click on the edge of the graph. That makes more sense. Now, it gives us these options. In this case, we want to choose the one that says Move Chart. We want to move this chart to a new sheet so that it's on its own page. Once you've checked this little button, go over and hit OK. Now it's looking good. We don't need this key or legend. You can click on that and delete. Maximizes it even more. Notice that um, our y-axis here goes above our values and our x-axis goes way past 1994. That's okay. You can leave that as is. Now we have some things that are missing from our graph. One of our things is to label our axes. So all you have to do is click somewhere in the graph, say there, go to the toolbox, just click that button. Now it gives us some options: title, horizontal, and vertical axis. I'm going to start with our horizontal axis. Our horizontal axis, of course, is our x-axis. Now, this was given to us on our data table, and you can notice it starts in the 1950s and ends near the year 2000. These are our years. So years are really a unit of time, so I'm going to put time, and then in parentheses, years. Notice it automatically fills that in down here. Very, very cool. Next, we're going to do our vertical axis, our up and down axis, which we call our y-axis. I'm going to write this, or type this, I should say, directly from my data table. It says total ozone, and these are measured in something called, Dobson units. You may remember that term from the WebQuest. You should go back and take a look and see what you wrote about it. They're very important units. We'll be talking about those soon. Oh, apparently I've misspelled this. So I'm going to go back and correct that. Always a good idea to check your spelling. So now I had missed my S, so now it does say Dobson units. Now our last thing to include in this little section is our title. Remember, the title needs to be descriptive. It really needs to include both axes. So one thing that we can do is include both of those. So I'm looking at the title of my data table, and it says stratospheric ozone concentration. And that's our y-axis that we see over here. This is our concentration of ozone. Now this isn't quite as specific as I would like, because ozone has varied greatly over the years. So the easiest thing for me to do is include these years, obviously, from our x-axis. In this case, our activity has data from 1956 to 1994. And there we have it. We have our x and y axes labeled with a descriptive title. We can X out this formatting palette and zips away. Our very last step is very, very easy, and that's to create our line of best fit. What I would do, or what you should do anyway, is hold down the control button and hover over any single data point. I'm going to pick this one and click. When it does that, it gives you this option that says add trend line. Click it. When you add the trend line, all you have to do is hit OK. It gives you all sorts of fancy options and things like that. All we have to do is hit OK. There we have it. We have our graph. Now, at this point, all you have to do is print this out, and then you're all set with this very first graph. And if you have any questions, just pause or rewind this video at any point, and then you can go back and get this part completed. Once you are done, you can go ahead and open the file, or the video I should say, for the second part of your graph.